morning, 11 a.m. East Coast time. What does that mean? That means we on it live, baby. It's on and popping. You're in the Beatdown. Hey, we had a good weekend. We're going to talk about some combat sports stuff, some non-combat sports stuff. And we're going to get this thing rolling. What am I going to say? We're going to get this thing started off proper like. So stick with me. We're going to go through the intro. We'll be right back on the other side with the show. All right? All right?
Introduce you to the greatest combat sports show bar none. You are now in the Beatdown.
You wanna get beat down?
Let us now introduce you to your host, the Badger, and
What's going on, family? Hey, it's Monday. Hey, Monday. Easter Monday. As I knew growing up, we had Good Friday and Easter Monday. Nowadays, I don't know really, spring break to most people, but hey, it's still a special time to me. So listen, we had a good weekend of combat sports that we can kind of jump in and take advantage of and talk about and, get people up to speed on and all that good stuff. So, you all right?
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
Okay. So, we had a good fight on Saturday night, or actually, yeah, that was Saturday afternoon. Jamel Herring versus Carl Frampton. It was Carl Frampton's swan song, it appears to be. And question came to my mind. I'm like, would I rather go out with a loss by decision, go out by getting knocked out, or go out by turning my back and realizing this is enough? What say you there, old Krusty?
Man, it doesn't matter.
It does matter, but go ahead.
We saw Carl Frampton put a note to the end of his career. Look, he lost to a better fighter. Like we said earlier in the week, we knew Jamel Herring had seemed to just be growing since he joined B&B. That's exactly what we saw Saturday afternoon. I mean, he's not the same fighter he was a couple years ago. And that's just a testament to him not giving up on himself. And for Bo Mack and Terrence Crawford and that whole crew out in Omaha, believing in Jamel Herring and bringing him in, and man, he's just turned into a phenomenal fighter. But to your question, bro, I mean, I don't think it matters for Carl Frampton. He has nothing to hold his head down about. He had a legendary career. He's accomplished so much for the UK fighters over there. So I don't think he has anything to hold his head down about. He lost to a champ who is at the top of his game right now. And, it is what it is. It's not his first loss. He lost to the old Santa Cruz as well. So, I mean, this is cool. And look, the most important thing when you go out is you go out on your own terms, bro. Good thing he went out getting beat up versus on a stretcher or something along that magnitude. He's got his health. He'll be okay. He can hold his head out. I mean, he's a true warrior. So when you got a career like Carl Frampton's, I don't think it matters how you go out, bro.
Well, again, this really had nothing to do with Carl Frampton per se. I was asking the question, if you were in his situation, what would
how
you
would you
rather
go out?
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, with his career, I'm fine with how he went out. That was why I said all that I said. I don't think he has anything to. If I'm Carl Frampton, I'm okay with how he went out, bro. He went out on his shield, bro. He got beat up by a better guy. In a championship fight, Frampton's been a champ. Nothing to be ashamed of here.
No, it has nothing to do with shame. I applaud him for how he did it. It was just like, you know what? There's nothing I can do with him. Nothing.
Yeah, you got
why get busted up anymore? Why get the chance to get knocked out?
Man.
And the fact that afterwards when he was talking about his family has sacrificed so much for boxing and he has sacrificed so much for boxing, and all he wants to do really is just go and enjoy them, spend some time with them. I'm like, that means he's financially set. So That's why we get into this game, is to make enough money so we can live comfortably.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure his family and his loved ones are thrilled, bro. This, for as much as we love this and as much as we like to get on here and blow hard about different things, the fact of the matter is everybody steps in that ring risking their life every chance they get in there. Every time you get into a fight camp, you taking shots and concussions. It's a tough way to make a living, which is why I think we should respect them a lot more than what we do. And not me and you, I mean just the general public. So yeah, this is the way you go out, man. This is the way you go out.
Yeah, I was pleased with that. Did you catch the Bellator fight on Friday?
I did. I watched, I think, the entire card, I think.
I think they really, I want to put this, they won. They gained ground with their fight on Friday. That card was a good card, and I believe they found a home on Friday nights. I really do. I looked at the card. I was very pleased with the card. It was interesting that Showtime chose to put Mauro Real in there instead of Hank Goldberg for commentary. I think that was a drop in quality, but, that's not my call. I like Hank Goldberg because he's been doing it for almost 20 years, and he is a voice that people recognize with MMA. As much as they recognize Joe Rogan's voice, they recognize Hank Goldberg's voice with MMA. And he's just very knowledgeable. Mauro has been able to cut a space in boxing, and the first time I heard him was in the WWE, actually. Those two, yeah, but MMA, I'm a Hank Goldberg fan when it comes to, if I had to choose between him, John Anderson, or Mauro Real, it would definitely be Hank Goldberg. He brings another touch where John McCarthy, to me, is not on Joe Rogan's level as color commentary, but he brings the experience of being a referee for decades. And I think Hank Goldberg was at better balance. But beyond that, I think they got it right with the production. It was a good card.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably a Showtime decision. Mauro's their guy. He's going to be their color guy for all their sports, from the looks of it, with the combat sports at least. He's also done a lot of narration for a lot of their behind-the-feature stuff. So, look, I'm okay with it. Look, I don't think Bellator... I think a westernized view says Bellator needs to worry about trying to catch to the UFC, but there's 7 billion people on the planet. All of them are watching the UFC on Saturday night, just like everybody watching Bellator on Friday night. There's enough content to go around. There's enough eyes out there now. All you got to do is pick a date, stick to it, be consistent, and it'll work. They got a good product. They're well-known. They're a recognized brand. Everybody knows who Bellator is. So, like you said, I think this is a good showing for them. It was a pretty good card. I like to talk about the card a little bit, though. I don't want to just gloss over the Bellator event. An intriguing fight that I watched with a lot of intrigue was the Jason Jackson-Neiman Gracie fight. I know Jason Jackson. I've met him a few times and had a few conversations with him. He was a stablemate, or he was, I know, for a while, a part of Black Zillions. I don't know what happened with them, but I think he trains at Stanford MMA with
that's what happened to them.
And Gilbert Burns.
They talked about during the card. They said what the Black Zillions now merged into Stanford MMA.
Okay. So, yeah, he was a stablemate of a guy by the name of Desmond Green. Desmond Green was an opponent that we had for MMA match down in Broward County with Miami a few years back. But Jason Jackson's always been a good guy. Needless to say, he is incredibly strong at 170 pounds. Let me be clear with you. I wanted Jason Jackson to win the fight because I know the guy. He's a good guy. Did he win that fight? I don't know. That was a very interesting scorecard, because from my eyes, what I saw, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, I saw Jason Jackson being the stronger, more explosive guy. So he was able to, whenever he kind of wanted to do something, he was able to do it, even with the eye injuries, both eye injuries. But you got to give credit to Neiman Gracie for, especially in the second round, kind of being able to kind of control the fight. And then the third round, it kind of went the same way as in the second round, although I think Jason Jackson did manage to get up and make it, a more of a stand-up contest in the third round. But that was a very even fight, man. I don't have a problem with the decision, but that was just an interesting fight to watch. Did you pay attention to that fight?
Yeah, I did. I like Jason Jackson as well. I really enjoyed the fight, but I have to agree with you. I don't know if he really won that fight. It was a good fight though, but I don't.
Yeah, I think for me, and I guess you're on the same page. I think I would just rather have seen a draw. But I think the only problem with that was that Bellator's running this tournament system, so you really can't get a draw. You kind of ask someone has to like advance to the next round.
Yeah.
Jason Jackson's interesting, bro. And I'm gonna say this, and this is, me just speaking in generalizations. He seems to be a very strong 170 pounder, bro.
Yeah.
Like with his wiry frame, with his very lean and thin frame, he just seems very strong. Like Neiman Gracie is tough because maybe Jackson don't really know how to turn them punches over all the way, but he got hit with a couple of shots. I was like, damn. He was able to get up off the ground at certain points when Neiman was trying to hold him down. I would like to see more of Jason Jackson. I have been watching his fights as of late. I will say I've been watching him. But it's going to be interesting to see what he does if he gets up into this higher echelon of competition because he looks strong, bro, to be that small. And when I say small, I mean just wiry.
Right.
So I want to see what he's going to do. And I don't know how much you've been following these guys in Bellator or Neiman Gracie. I don't know who Jason Jackson's going to face next, but if he's that much more athletic than the rest of the guys they have over there, bro, this is going to be interesting to see how this shakes down because with him training at Stafford MMA, he should be getting exponentially better with a lot of the deficiencies that he has. But, bro, I'm wondering with that kind of strength, him training with Usman and Burns and all these guys, bro, this might be an advantage for him. I want to see what he does in this next round, bro. I'm really intrigued. More about what he can do going forward than what I saw Friday night, if that makes sense.
It makes sense. I can tell you something that I don't know why it caught my attention. You think of Stanford MMA and the Black Zillions as a UFC training center. And a lot of times we forget that these training centers don't just feed one organization. I think it was a good reminder talking about them that, some of the guys in Bellator are training with the top guys in UFC and vice versa. Because it's like a clear line drawn in the sand on the business side, but not on the training side.
Well, the interesting part about that is, again, when you're in these combat sports, especially in the States, these circles are small. I think I've told you about this several times before. A lot of these guys know each other. When you get a high concentration of guys like you do down in South Florida, there's only so many gyms.
Right.
So a lot of guys are going to train together. Here's what's interesting about Jason Jackson. I want to say he started out in LFA, Legacy Fighting Association, Legacy Fighting, whatever it's called. He won the belt there. Then I thought he was going to join Titan, which is where we were, because Titan is a feeder system for the UFC. Titan, Invicta, all those guys kind of feed their guys to the UFC. It was interesting to see Jason Jackson go to Bellator. Now, is that because all those guys are at 170 in the UFC already? So maybe it just made sense for him and the gym to go to 170 pounds, go to Bellator, or maybe they thought that he would go to Bellator first and do well there and then come to the UFC. I'm intrigued because, bro, it's a lot of killers that are down there at 170, man.
It is. And you also look at two other aspects. One, you can make way more money early with sponsorship than you can in the UFC. Two, it just may be a better, the competition in Bellator is good. It's really good. They don't have the names that the UFC has but it's good. When you listen to some fighters talk, even Chael Sonnen talks about it a little bit. UFC is the dominant because of name and money right now, but as far as talent pool, Bellator is like right there. We just don't see him as much. But now this contract with Showtime, I think is really going to help Bellator and trying to make that push, that rise. Listen, did you see the Conor Watabe Alejandro Lara fight?
Yeah.
When girlfriend
that
came
was
in
interesting.
doing the cha-cha or the salsa.
Yeah.
Listen,
I think I missed her ring entrance, but I watched the entire fight too.
that ring entrance is something to go back and find because it was worth it. But
Well,
it was
I mean,
it was a good fight. I honestly thought Lara won the fight. And looking at what the judges said, it was close. It was 28-29, 29-28, 29-28, split decision. I thought Lara won the fight. I thought she didn't take as much damage on the ground, and she was able to actually fight off on the ground as well. And when she was on the feet, she was striking the mess out of Conor.
Yeah, that fight reminds me of the Neiman Gracie Jason Jackson fight, right? The young lady from was it Watanabe? I want to make sure I'm pronouncing her name right.
Watanabe, yes.
Well, that's okay. There are moments in the fight where she just controlled on the ground. That was all she was really able to do, right? But that counts, scoring it. And the fight took lulls because she was able to control her on the ground. I'm with you, bro. I thought that Lara. I think I would have liked to see a draw in that fight too. That was a close one too. Again, this whole card was, yeah. I can see where you feel like Lara. I can see it, bro. But I think for me, I would prefer to draw in that fight too. That was a close fight. What fight wasn't close was the main event, bro.
Oh, before you get there, let's talk about Khabib's cousin, Usman Nurmagomedov, versus Mike Hamill. Now, one judge had it 29-28. The other two had it 30-27.
28, yeah.
30-27, 30-27, and then that one 29-28. And I'm like,
yeah.
What fight were you watching?
I think they do that just to make sure we're paying attention.
Well, good job.
Yeah, that's all.
Good job.
That's all. It wasn't a close fight.
What about the Terrell Fortune Jack May fight? Did you like that one?
Okay, so the Terrell. Okay. So, you know why I like this fight, and this is what Bellator's got right. And maybe it's because they're the little brother. Bro, the whole build up to the entire build up to that fight, like the way they talked before the fight and the weigh-in, and then before the fight started, then right after he got stopped, bro. I like that. That felt authentic for some reason. Now, Terrell said that this guy had been calling him out, jumping his DM, disrespecting him, and all this and all that. Whatever he did to Terrell, he should not do to anyone else.
Ever.
Because
including family.
Height, weight didn't mean anything. Mr. Fortune wanted to beat the brakes off Mr. May. It was just that simple. And that's exactly what it looked like. And after the fight, what I found that was even more interesting was that Bellator, like UFC, they allowed him to kind of make you know it was personal. Like, did you hear what he was saying to him after the fight, bro? Like, I was like, oh, this felt like this was legit. Even if it wasn't for money, they would probably still fight outside in the parking lot. That's how I felt about this fight. And that's what I think I liked more of the fight than anything else, because it really wasn't competitive.
And the funny thing is, Terrell Fortune is 30 years old. Jack May is 39. Terrell Fortune is 6'2", 265. Jack
6'2".
Fortune is 6'8", 260.
I don't know if Jack May's 6'8", but I know Terrell ain't 6'2".
Well, that's what they have him listed as. They have Jack May listed as 6'8". Either way,
yeah,
that's still a 6-inch difference. That's major. And it didn't matter because Terrell Fortune and Jack, actually Jack had the misfortune of fighting Terrell Fortune. Because Terrell pieced him up in the first round, bro. The first round, it was like, if I'm not mistaken, you're looking at 3:16 of the first round. It was over by strikes. strikes.
Bro, he took him down and beat him up. It looked like a schoolyard fight.
Yeah.
Took him down to the ground, got on top of him, got control, and just pounded him till. Because at first I thought the ref was going to let it go because it looked like at one point that May was kind of able to defend or deflect a lot of those punches. But one of them got through, and that whole defense just kind of went a little limp. He just started pummeling. While he was talking to him, mind you.
Yeah. I wish they would just record what he said to show that. Just play back what he said.
I want Tyrell to put out the D. Now I know it's against man code, but y'all already fought and settled it. Now I want to know what the DM said because apparently it made you want to do this. Because speaking of DMs, bro, people inside people's DMs. It's just getting crazy now. Let's talk about this, bro. Kevin Durant and Michael Rappaport, bro.
Before you go there, let's wrap up the heavyweight fight. Not the heavyweight, the main event. Patricia Pitbull versus Emmanuel Sanchez. I want to say Sanchez.
Yeah, you're right. Let's not gloss over this because there's a bigger fight behind this fight I want to talk about too. So look, he's the best guy they got at 155. He's the best guy right now. He beat that guy. He beat his opponent. I'm gonna say this. There was a skill set difference here in this fight, and once you started to see it, once Pitbull got it rolling, then it was like, okay, you could just kind of see it building. There's not a lot to say about the fight, honestly, bro, unless you want to dig into it. I think it was pretty clear about how it ended and who, did what.
Oh, yeah.
But I think looking for that next fight against AJ McKee. Listen, I've been watching this kid, AJ McKee, for a while, right? He is the goods. But, bro, did he seem a little not so ecstatic about this fight opportunity? Did you see a lot of confidence from him? And I don't want to read into it more because they got to fight regardless. It's not going to matter. But for what I've seen this kid do, and for all the things that they were saying, I would have thought I would see a little bit more of assuredness from him. Or am I reading the room wrong on that?
I don't know, bro. You might be reading the room wrong on that one. But I see where you're coming from with it. We'll see. That's the good thing.
Yeah, they're gonna fight.
Yeah, they're gonna fight, and we'll see. But I like that guillotine choke at 3:35 of the first round. Yeah.
I mean, bro, but that's what I'm saying. It's like we have been talking about, bro. We've been hearing about Pitbull for a while. Like his name.
Well, he used to be in the UFC.
Well, but he's one of the guys that was able to continue to build his name once he got to Bellator. Like he's been putting on tremendous performances. He isn't like a Corey Anderson who was a real contender in the UFC, right? And comes to Bellator and then what happens? So we gotta be careful because they were just in UFC. Because you can pick on a couple of guys that were good in UFC and came to Bellator for the reason they just haven't flourished.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, he's I don't want to say Michael Chandler-esque. But bro, to me, he feels like this is his league now. Like when you listen to him talk, when you watch him, bro, it's almost like there's a confidence that he has that he just, even when he fights, bro, there's no respect here, bro. He went right there and just, so.
I think sometimes you'll find these guys who, he and his brother made a name in the UFC. They made a name. They did well. They reached the top level in the UFC. But something just wasn't right. There was a comfort level, I'm assuming. He got to Bellator and it was like, whoa, I can still do some things. And he, like you said, he continued to get better. He didn't just come in and live off his name. He continued to get better. Him, Chris Cyborg, you can look at both of them and say they've continued to develop, even though they may have been at the top of the food chain in the UFC at one point. But when they left, it was like they had something internal to prove.
External too.
Well, I mean, external doesn't really matter if you can't prove it internally. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin Durant.
So yeah, bro. No, I just I don't know if you've been keeping up or if you saw anything about it, but Kevin Durant and Michael Rappaport, bro. So, look, and you may agree with this, you may not, but I'm gonna say this, bro. When you're someone that, and this is me putting this on this young generation, and Kevin Durant's only what, he's 31, 30. He's not a young pup, but he's in that generational gap where things are starting to change.
Wait a minute, he came in the league the year LeBron came in the league. Yeah,
No, he's much younger than LeBron.
No, because when he
Bro,
played,
LeBron came out in
wait a moment.
2002.
Carmelo Anthony came in the league the same time as LeBron
And Dwayne Wade.
Kevin
All those
Durant,
guys.
OJ Mayo, Michael Beasley, they all were one and done that same year because Durant came from Texas.
Okay. I never knew. I thought Durant was a little bit younger than LeBron, but okay. All right, either way. I just find it interesting that Kevin Durant, who by all accounts, no, bro, you're wrong. He came out in 2007.
Yep, I just looked that up.
Kevin Durant is going down, bro.
Yeah, he's 32. My bad.
He's going down, bro, as probably one of the top 10 to 15 players of all time, because Kevin Durant is just, he's one of those guys that we like a little bit more when he doesn't say anything. But quiet as kept, Kevin Durant is the most unstoppable offensive force we've seen in basketball in a long time.
Yeah.
Like, Kevin Durant is the guy that no one can defend. It doesn't matter. He does whatever he wants. He's gotten better defensively. And if it wasn't for him rupturing his Achilles, but missing that whole season, bro, maybe this conversation would have a different tenure. But my whole point of saying was this. When you're one of the greatest to ever do it at a sport, how do you find time to engage someone who is really just a troll? Rappaport still does things like he has a show on Netflix, Atypical, which is really good. It's about kids on the spectrum. If you have time, watch it. It's a good show. Outside of that, Michael Rappaport is just a personality. Rappaport doesn't do anything. He's not doing a bunch of movies and stuff. He's not Remy, right? He's not the guy we knew from the 90s. He's not that anymore, right? So I'm still trying to figure out why and how does Kevin Durant get in this type of back and forth with him, and then the level of disrespect. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? Is nothing off limits anymore? Are there no standards? Chime in, bro, because you're a little bit older and I know you kind of see things differently, but that is just weird to me, bro. Like, what?
Sometimes a tone and attitude from a certain group of people can get under your skin. Especially if you had to deal with this growing up and you may not have been able to respond or correct the situation. But now as an adult, or you feel you're a grown man and you've done enough to earn somebody's respect and they're still coming at you this way, sometimes it'll get under your skin and you'll do the wrong thing, which is to react. And that's what Kevin Durant has done. He's reacting and reacting and reacting and reacting. And all it's going to do is hurt him and help Michael Rappaport. Because it's going to make Michael Rappaport look, to some people, tough for standing up to the big bully, even though he started it. But again, when you're in school and you punch this kid in the mouth who was spouting out to you in the lunchroom, they see the punch. They don't care about who started it. So you've got ESPN commentators already talking about Kevin Durant should be fined, suspended, all this nonsense. But all the things going to happen to Michael Rappaport is his likes are going to grow.
Yeah. I mean, Rappaport, he's kind of built this second found fame from being a troll online. He's always going at it with different athletes. I think him and LeBron had an issue before, if I'm not mistaken. I guess I can blame it on social media. But my problem with blaming it on social media is, unlike real life, where the kid in lunchroom is right here with you, or unlike real life where you actually got to be in contact with this person, Kevin Durant doesn't have to see Mike Rappaport. And for Kevin Durant to, after the situation had died down for what it was worth, to then come back and back and back when this man had stopped responding to you, that is more problematic to me. If this was just a back and forth over the course of a day or two, I get it. But it had died down and you came out of it, you got up like the Undertaker. Oh, I forgot, Rappaport was still alive. Let me go find him. And you went back. That to me is the part I don't understand. And that's the part where I feel like maybe Kevin Durant should focus more on other things, whatever those other things are, than coming back 2-3 months later to find Mike Rappaport, bro. Like, it was over with. It was dead, and you show back up in this man's DM out of nowhere. That's wild, bro.
To me, it's not wild. It's immature. But this is the level that we're dealing with now. Back in the day, back in my day, they would have settled just like men. No, they would have found somebody. Somebody would have arranged a meeting, or they would have seen each other in a nightclub. That's how it would have been. It wouldn't have been handled out in public like it is now.
Well, yeah, and bro, and think about this. Back in the day, if you're referring to prior to 2010 or 2007, before Facebook and Twitter exploded, bro, he would have only saw him at home games. He would have been just like any other antagonizing fan, sitting courtside, saying whatever obnoxious things he can say. And then after the game's over, when do you see him again? That's why I said social media, because what's he going to do, pick up the phone and call you? Nah. But because social media and because personalities now are tied more to social media, and this is where these worlds merge, right? Now it's almost like you have to say something to Rappaport, or because he said something to you in the past. Now again, I'm saying this is wild because what prompted you to go back months later? It was settled. You had the last DM and he didn't respond to you. And you come back months later out of nowhere.
Immaturity.
That's strange, bro.
That's what prompted you to go back. Immaturity. There was something that somebody got your goat. Somebody probably reminded you, oh man, well, you ain't say that to Rappaport. Or something to that effect. Or you just realized, you know what? There was something that Joker didn't respond, and I had something I've been wanting to say. So I'm going to go back and say it to him now.
Got it.
But he also didn't expect the DMs to be made public either.
Well, and now that's a part of the conversation I want to talk about too. There is, I guess, this unwritten code.
That's a bunch of
media.
BS. Go ahead.
It is, and I'm going to agree with you, but I think we're going to differ a little bit on why I agree with you. If that was a conversation between us, if we beefing, then no. As a man, I don't expect another man to make our private conversation public. No different than if I would have met up with you face to face and we talked it out like men. I would expect either one of us to go back to either and say, oh man, well, we talked about, man, I got that joker straight. I told this, that. Now, I think between men, it should have stayed there. Now, here's where I agree with you. Social media is for the public. I don't care if it's a DM. I don't care about any of that. It is social media. So by the very nature of what it is, why would you get on there and expect anything to be private?
First of all,
which is why I say people are weird that get on social media and make their pages private. If you just want to be a stalker and be nosy and look at everybody else got going on, do it. You just don't have to post anything. You can put a blank avatar up there, whatever, and just follow people. But why are you private? That denotes another type of action in a public social form.
First of all,
that's why I kind of feel like that.
We don't take responsibility for self. This is the problem. I'm going to go even further back than social media. When's the first time you were betrayed? Probably in school, when you told your best friend, thinking that you were also their best friend, something that you didn't want somebody to hear. And then when they told their best friend, You couldn't understand what was going on because you're my best friend. But yeah, your best friend usually has a best friend. I mean, it's occasionally where your best friend is, you all are each other's best friends, but typically there's somebody that they confide in as well. And they may have told them in confidence just because they needed to get it off their chest and they didn't want to hurt your feelings with how they felt. Next thing you know, it's all around school. Because somebody who really, there is nothing called allegiance. Nothing called allegiance. It's not. It's a myth. And we'll go a little bit further along. Most guys whose women cheat on them, they cheat on them with a close friend. A relative, a homeboy, they cheat on them with a close friend. Because we believe that there's a code. There's a code that, if I date her and I break up with her, you can't get with her. No, you didn't understand that you're both adults here, or you're both entitled to do what it is you want to do. So when you're done and you move on, you need to move on. Now, we take these mindsets into our professionalism or unprofessionalism, and we start thinking, hey, everybody subscribes to the same code. And that's a bunch of BS. We don't subscribe to the same code. Your ideals are different than mine. They just are. I mean, we have respect for certain things, and it just worked out that way. But there are things that you do that I can't stand. There are things that I do that you can't stand, or we just don't understand. But I'm also not going to tell you something that I don't want to hear again. And vice versa. Because when you put it out there, you can't expect it to stay silent. You couldn't keep it to yourself. I couldn't keep it to myself. So I can't hold you to that. I mean, yeah, I'd be mad. Well, if I found out that, I told you that my wife really had a third leg and they cut it off in the 4th grade so she would look normal, but nobody ever knew who didn't know her before then. And then I look up on social media and you like, wow, so his wife has something in common with third leg Greg. I mean, it's just as crazy as that sounds, but that's what we do. We put our information in the hands of other people and say, hey, don't do anything wrong with it. Michael Rappaport, when's the last time you saw him on television?
I mean, I see him on the sports networks a lot, but like I said, other than this,
a TV show or a movie, right? So, what's the most important thing for an actor? To stay credible, to stay viable, for people to remember you, to see you, to hear you. So, when you go for another role that you would not have normally gotten, your agent got you into that audition because now you got a 1.5 million likes or followers, or oh wow, so okay, so he's gonna bring people to the film. So if you're Michael Rappaport and you're like, you know what, I left you alone, punk, but now you want to come back at me? Okay, I'm gonna let you keep going, and then I'm gonna bust your knot. I'm gonna put it out there in the open for everybody to see, and I'm gonna let you deal with the damage, the collateral damage. Me, it's gonna help me exponentially. It's gonna help me, but I'm gonna let you deal with the damage control.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm going to go on and just say these young men got to do a better job of managing their emotions.
It's
the
cool.
Things that Kevin Durant said to Mike Rappaport was just straight up disrespectful.
They were.
About the man's wife, making physical threats to his harm.
Yeah.
So
spitting on him, tell him I spit on spit in your face.
DM shouldn't be made public, but I'm okay with what he did here. You can't talk about my wife and make physical threats to me, especially in a situation where I could be just as wrong if I come back and say something like that to you that you could probably put out there first, or if I ever run into you. Mike Rappaport may be a lot of things, but I'm sure a fighter and a tough guy is not one of them, especially against a 7-foot tall, well-conditioned athlete.
Yeah, now if you look at his background, he was a fighter. I mean, he wasn't a boxer, but he was one of those guys that growing up, even when he started his career, never really ran from a fight. He was kind of like a Mark Wahlberg type guy, just just fought.
Yeah, well, the difference between Michael Rappaport and Mark Wahlberg is Mark Wahlberg's been able to stay in some sort of a physical shape.
Yeah. I said early in his career. I didn't say anytime recently.
About that. So right now, no, this is not something that he'd be like
No.
to do. Let's rewind time 25 years. White men can't jump. I mean, not white men can't jump, but higher learning, maybe. Maybe Remy would not be afraid of Kevin Durant if this was 1994, but it's not. It's 2021. You're an old man with a wife and a bunch of kids, bro. Kevin Durant, to me, is the foul in this situation. But be it as it may, I hope they both learn from this. Rappaport, Scatter people, stop talking about people directly. Or make generalizations about just the game. Stop making people like you're attacking them personally. And for Kevin Durant, bro,
but that's Michael Rappaport's game. Kevin Durant had no business getting in that whole situation. It's called personal responsibility, accountability.
Even when it was just a friendly banter back and forth when it initially started, right? Yeah. Once he saw it turning a little way, he should have let it. He should have backed away then. You got much more to be worried about Kevin Durant. Like, in all honesty, like, you're not retired, bro. You're coming off of a very gruesome and tough injury. You're one of the top 3 players in the world, bro. You got much more things to probably focus on than worry about this guy.
And now you want to dismiss it. Like, dude.
It was just, it was nothing. Nah, bro.
No, when the media got hold of it, bro, at that point, you knew you messed up. Now, just say, you know what, I messed up. I should have expected this to happen because you should. And I shouldn't have done it.
There you go. I'm wrong. I'm human. He got in my skin. I exposed myself for being vulnerable to this kind of thing. I'm going to try to do better in the future. Me and Rappaport know how to communicate. Let that be it, bro.
But we don't have,
for it at this point.
We don't have, you look at our entertainers, you look at this generation of entertainers, you look at this generation of athletes, not all, but for the most part, and I'm going to say more than our generation and your generation, there is no accountability. I can do what I want to do, say what I want to say, and you know what? There's no accountability. I don't have to be responsible for anything that comes back. There's the backlash. I can just dismiss it. So, I mean, we've bred this. It wasn't something that just happened. We've allowed this to metastasize from where it was to where it is now. So it's no surprise. Even in journalism, there's no accountability. I can say what I want to say on ESPN today, and I can be proven to be a liar, but that's okay because tomorrow I'm going to say something else. So there's no integrity and no accountability. And when that lacks, don't be surprised what happens. Listen, we're almost up against it, bro. I know there was something else. It popped into my head, and we went on about Michael Rappaport. It kind of left. No, I guess we did cover that. Hey, tomorrow, don't forget to tune in at 11 a.m. We're going to be talking about Mighty Mouse, Demetrius Johnson, and his fight coming up on Wednesday, and why it's a fight you don't want to miss. So instead of telling a story, there's something that's been in my spirit for a while, and it's been something that I've been dealing with and meditating on and praying on, and it's called living intentionally. You'll never find anybody in this world that's successful by accident or by happen chance. You have to live intentionally. You have to make decisions intentionally. You have to decide to follow a path or not to follow a path. If you're going to veer off the current path you're on, you have to understand why you're doing it. And if it makes sense, you have to do it because it makes sense for you and not really worry about if it makes sense for somebody else. It's called living intentionally. I was watching a series of videos. Oh my goodness, the guy, Eric Thomas, talks about living intentionally. There's another guy, and for some reason my mind just went blank with him, and I've been watching him for a while now, but they talk about the purposeful life. And a lot of times when we get caught in depression and we get caught in situations where we feel like we have no hope, it's because we've abandoned our purpose. in our viewpoint. We stopped understanding that there's a reason for our existence, that there's a reason that you have another day to wake up, that you have another day to get out and do some things. You have to be intentional about it. You have to decide, I'm getting out of bed to do this, even if it's just to take a shower. If that's a big step for you, because I can tell you, when depression hits, sometimes you get out of bed and you'll sit on the couch and you'll let the TV watch you and you'll fade in and out. So that big step may be getting out of bed to take a shower, to refresh your body and your mind so you can move forward. Take time to do that. Be intentional about what you're going to eat for breakfast. Am I putting something in my body that's going to fuel me for the rest of my day? Or am I putting something in my body that's going to make me sluggish for the rest of the morning? Be intentional about going outside. Am I just going out to stare up into the sun and until I can't do it anymore? Or am I going outside to say hi to my neighbor, to see what a beautiful day it is, to let my problems wash off my back and move forward? Be intentional in life, and you'll understand that life is not as bad as the perception may say. Shout out to my pops, shout out to my mom, shout out to my wife and my daughter, who are both on spring break right now. Yes, my wife has a second spring break because she's staying home because my daughter's home. So, and we're going to be intentional. We're going today to St. Pete Pier. And we're going to take our niece. Yeah. We're going to take our niece and our daughter, and we're going to go over there. And I think the Queen Mother is coming as well. And we're going to get out and look at the water and look at the shops and stay away from as many people as we can. And maybe break our diet and have some ice cream. Maybe go to the Hurricane and have a grouper sandwich for lunch, a late lunch. But we're going to enjoy this day intentionally.
Yeah, man. St. Pete Pier is dope. You'll enjoy it. You'll definitely enjoy it. Have you been since they reopened it?
No.
Wow. You remember the old one?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you're in for a pleasant surprise. Listen, we appreciate everybody for rocking with us today. I want to talk about a few things, but we'll save them for next time. We just have nothing else to talk about. If you live in the South County area, please evacuate. Don't use the water. You know how it goes. This ain't the first time it's not happening.
Talk about that, man.
Shouts out to everybody. Nah, we ain't got time. Shouts out to everybody in Florida. That's everybody get their vaccines today. Well, at least everybody that's 16 and older. You want to go get stuck? Go join the line. It's around the corner. Get on this show and tell us about your experience. Let us know how it went for you, man.
Get that operating system put in your body.
That's all I got, man. Happy birthday to J-Rock. Maybe you can find Luba sometime soon. Everybody want Danny Garcia. That's beyond me. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad place. Me and this guy giving y'all what y'all want to see. Spread the love is crazy out there. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Fight It's Your Nation. Out here. Peace.
I don't know how that happened.